Many thanks for staying with us, everyone. Let's get some more thoughts on the executive-legislative relationship and the 2017 budget, of course, and the issue of the national unity. Senator Ayo Arishe joins us from our Abuja studio, while retired Colonel Tony Inyam is here with us in our Lagos studio. Before I come to Colonel Inyam, let me quickly ask you, Senator Ayo Arishe, give us the benefit of your experience in the National Assembly. It looks so much that things are getting to a head right now with the relationship with the National Assembly and the executive on the 2017 budget and some of the items. You heard what Mr. Femi Falana said about the role of the National Assembly. Do you think that the National Assembly may be overstepping its bound in this matter, or the executive is not doing what it should be doing?
Thank you very much, Sheil. I just listened to my brother, the learned Silk, Femi Falana. The relationship is not as simplistic as Femi made it appear. First of all, the power of appropriation lies in the National Assembly. That is not in question. You look at Section 81, 82, 88, 89, of our Constitution, and it's good that the Vanessa Silk alluded to the fact that they went to court over this matter, and the judgment went against him, because I believe the judge, Justice Kolawole, alluded to the fact that the National Assembly is not just a rubber stamp. They're supposed to look at the budget and actually come up with a law. The appropriation bill is just like any other bill. My brother has said that the only executive bill is the appropriation bill. No, we have executive bills. Most of the bills passed into law normally come from the executive. But the appropriation bill is one of those executive bills that specifically has to do with the money bill. So that is controversial. It's not unique to it's not unique to Nigeria. We copied from the US. And the issue of what to call earmark or constituency project or pop barrel, all these are issues that the advanced countries have had to battle with over the years. And of course, from historical perspective, Madison in 1817 had to veto some of those special interest things put inside the budget. What the executive should be looking at is the best way, to handle anything in the budget that does not go through competitive bidding. It doesn't go coming through the president. And of course, it's specified or is directed towards a particular locality. Now, if we're looking at those, we'll be having more profitable time in terms of settling this matter than looking at who is right, who is wrong. The Constitution is very clear. The power of appropriation belongs to the National Assembly. How we intend to make them do what the executive wants to do now becomes an issue of lobbying between the two of them. Now, somebody mentioned the issue of omnibus budget. That happens in the U.S. Congress. And of course, they have resources. You have the Office of Management and Budgeting in the U.S. And the Congressional Budget Office is also there. They can always look at some of these things and come up with solutions. They don't just return the budget. As a matter of fact, the executive has no say from the point that bill is submitted to the point it comes out of the different committees in the appropriation. Of course, it's a lot more sophisticated in the U.S. They have about 12 committees comprising of the appropriation committee in the U.S. There are 12 subcommittees, and they address each of those ministries. The problem that I'm hearing about the omnibus 20 billion naira, that can only happen with agreement with the National Assembly.
Senator
When they're looking for things to go to their respective constituencies, which is not the best That's what we're, everybody is kicking against.
Senator Arishe, as it stands now, pardon me if I quickly butt in here on this matter, what would you suggest as the solution? Because when we hear that over 400 insertions were made into the budget, it bothers the mind that if the National Assembly wants to implement the budget, it should prepare its own budget. If the law really specifies the role of each of the arm of government, but as it stands now, with the kind of face of that we have seen, how would you suppose the both arms of government resolve this crisis going forward?
Well, again, a number of people should begin to get interested in politics. The struggle in the U.S. Congress came to an end just in March 2010, when the Speaker, Bonner, decided that earmarking, which is similar to our constituency project here, is illegal. He called it corruption. And Obama actually ensured in a State of the Union address that earmarking will no longer be entertained in the Constitution, the appropriation process. Now, since 2010, if you earmark, it's no longer possible. But the new Speaker, Ryan, is trying to put that back in. Look at the struggle from 1817 to this time, to 2010. It's not an easy thing. There's this spirit of, I won't say it's an error that we just copied. We copied the U.S. Constitution without looking at a kind of culture, in this country. Now, for the Constitution the way it is, for anything to happen, somebody will have to come in who is the legislator to say that, look, this is illegal, it's not going to happen again. But of course, who has such guts now? Because, you can about tell that this is a very difficult proposition. I would suggest that the executive arm look at those things that they feel is suspect and ensure, as a matter of fact, part of the resolutions in the U.S. Congress was that you have to sign your name for anything that you have put in the budget and ensure that you make an undertaking that you cannot benefit financially, neither can any member of your family benefit financially. So these are the areas we need to start looking at to ensure that we discourage this kind of practice. Right. But in terms of who has the powers, I think it's settled. The Constitution just settled that. We need to see how we can work together and ensure that a resolution that is in the best interest of Nigeria is what prevails at the end of the day.
Stay with us, Senator Arishe, because we come back to you on the issue of the confab report and how the National Assembly will weigh in. Let me quickly come to Colonel Inyam here on the issue of restructuring Nigeria and the debate over national unity. As it stands right now, the 2014 confab, on one hand, the kind of agitations that we are seeing in some parts of the country, what do you think is really at the center of the agitation? We've heard these agitations some years before, but now we are hearing them again, a renewed kind of agitations. What do you think is at the heart of the agitations?
What is at the heart of the agitation is that the principles of democracy and federalism, which is justice, fairness, equity, liberty, and compassion or love, are lacking. When you hear people talking about agitating, wanting self-determination, it's because they are suffering injustice. One, there's a situation where we have a political economic structure which has an imbalanced structure, whereby some people have more access to federal revenue than others. And you cannot expect people like that to keep quiet.
It looks like almost every region of the country has their own grievance. If you ask the North Central region, they have their own grievance. The Southeastern region, they have their own grievance. So it is for the four other regions of the country. They do have their own grievance. It looks like everybody is aggrieved. So what do you think is the way out?
If people are aggrieved, we should take the advice Asiwaju Tinubu just gave recently in the Ramadan speech, you listen to their yearnings. And how do you listen to their yearnings? You allow people dialogue.
We've had dialogue and dialogue.